Hey rockers, welcome back to the channel, man. And tonight it's a special episode, a special video here at Bloody F Mess Official. I'm formally introducing the first ever guest I've had on the channel since I started this channel in March of last year. So welcome, Sister Tracy.
Hello, hello, hello.
You know, I always stare at that green dot, but since you have shades on, it doesn't matter. Sister Tracy is the host of the Latitude 42 radio show every other week on KSKQ Radio. She's also the co-producer and co-host of the Church of Rock radio show, my show, on KSKQ Radio every Sunday night. And she was formerly the lead singer of a killer punk band called Avluv, A-V-L-U-V. Spell that backwards. And that was a badass band, and she was a great front person. Happy to have you here as my first guest.
Thank you. Happy to be here and happy to talk about what we're going to talk about.
Now, we've only been talking about this idea for a year and a half.
Yeah. It's been me. It's all my fault.
I've been begging her, man, let's do this story about Iggy Pop, man, the Stooges.
I have a face for radio, so, like, yeah, I don't really like being in front of the camera. I like to be on the other side of the camera, but I'm here now and, you know, ready to do this. So.
Well, I appreciate it. You know, sorry I don't have better equipment, you guys, like a microphone and a fancy super AI duper crazy setup. But I'm kind of not sorry. But Tracy speaks a little lower than me, so just try to turn the volume up a little more, and Tracy talk a little louder, and I'll talk a little lower.
Are we straight?
We're all straight, man.
We look lopsided.
Yeah, the camera looks lopsided. I need some new equipment, man.
Are we lopsided?
Up here. So listen, man, we're going back to the year 2007. Tracy and I scored tickets to see Iggy Pop and the Stooges. It was the first reunion tour of the Stooges, and you know, anyone into underground music and punk rock and any fan of the Godfather himself, Iggy Pop, was more than elated to find out these guys were getting back together. The story is, I was kind of friends with Ron Ashton for about 3 years before this show. I interviewed him on my radio show, The Church of Rock. I used to call Ron at, I believe it was his mom's phone numbers from like the 70s or something. He was still staying at that house in Michigan. I think that was the house. But I would call Ron. I interviewed him. He was so excited about The Weirdness, which was the album that the Stooges put out after, what, 30s? I made notes, man. After like 30-something years, they put out that album, 34,
Yeah.
since Raw Power. And anyway, or was it Funhouse? Either way, we were excited, man, because who gets to see the Stooges live? They were like broken up in like 70, 71 or something.
Right, I was going to say, especially in, 2005 or 7 or whatever it was. Not many people, especially with the Ashton brothers. So,
Or the Dum Dum Boys. So the date was April 15th, 2007. Iggy Pop was 60 years old. Tracy and I got tickets, and for about a month, we were like excited. We had anticipation. And I kept saying stupid shit like, oh, it's going to be great to see Iggy, but it's not going to be anything like the old days. But we didn't know. We really didn't know what to expect. I just thought and assumed and presumed that it'd be just pretty mellow, you know. Boy, was I freaking wrong.
well, and we kind of went off of, even though the interview with Ron a couple of years before on the radio, we kind of went off that in a way, like how that interview went.
Well, I kind of, yeah.
Assuming that was maybe going to be like how the show was.
Well, his energy was crazy because Ron and Scott Ashton had been waiting for Iggy Pop to call for decades. They wondered, the fans always wondered, why in the hell doesn't Iggy get back together with his original crew? But he finally did. And when I was interviewing Ron, which was actually, I wrote that down, man. It was July 18th, 2003 is when I ran the interview with Ron. But before and after that, we kept in touch by phone. Ron would do things like say, Bloody, man, just send me a big box of records and stuff to sign, and I'll get all the guys. And it may take a while, but even if it takes a while, I'll get Jim, a.k.a. Iggy, to sign all the stuff for you, bro, and I'll send it back to you. Well, I blew that. I never did that. Don't know why I didn't send him a box of records. I know. Idiot! But anyway, hey, that record there in the background, though, Iggy Pop did sign that for me. That's the first Stooges record. Woohoo! Score.
Score.
Anyway, I made a bunch of notes, you guys, because it's a lot to talk about. During this tour, it was Iggy Pop on vocals, Ron Ashton on the guitar, his brother Scott Ashton on the drums, legendary Steve McKay, the sax player of the Stooges, and on those great songs. Steve McKay was there with his sax. Mike Watt, the legend from the Minutemen, on bass guitar. I can't think of a better guy to have on bass guitar for the Stooges.
Mike is super cool, and met Mike on a few occasions, and actually got to hang out with them, and just he was like a buddy. He's super cool, very approachable, just a nice guy.
When he was in town the last time with Mike Watt and the was it not the Minutemen, the something men, but they played in Medford, and they stayed overnight at our friend Steve Westkirshen's over in Grants Pass. Steve said they were great guests, cool people, and Mike Watt, man, he's real smart. I think he's probably genius level, and he's extremely intellectual, but he's also crazy. He's got that side to him that I love because he's wild. And as a bass player, he's highly erratic. Perfect for Iggy in the Stooges. They recorded the Weirdness album in 2007, released that album. It didn't do real well critically, but I thought it was pretty good. There was a lot of good songs on it. Nothing like the old Stooges, but hey, it was still an Iggy and the Stooges record, man. I'm glad that happened. We had tickets. We kept saying, oh, we're going to go. Can't wait. It's going to be exciting. And then the day came. We jumped in the car, smoked a bunch of ganja. We were playing Iggy Pop, I think cassette tape still. I don't know. We were playing Iggy Pop.
No, we were at CD level at that point,
We were playing CDs. You're right. Yeah. We were playing Iggy Pop CDs all the way up there. And I kept saying, again, it's not going to be like the old days, but, you know, it'll be cool. The Stooges are back together. You know, minus Dave Alexander, the original bass player, of course, and, you know, the second tour subsequently after Ron passed away was 2 years later with James Williamson on guitar. That story is on this channel, and that's a really good one, guys. Anyway, we get to Chicago a day before, and we get to our hotel, nice hotel, anticipation's building, and we made a plan to get up super early. We're kind of fanatics with Iggy Pop, and we thought we're going to be the first people at that show. No doubt about it, and we were. We got there, it was really early.
Yeah, we did. We got there, I don't know, it was like early morning hours. And
7, 8 o'clock.
There were a few other fans there that maybe you could count on one hand, I think.
When we got there, we were the first people there. And then about 10 o'clock, 11, 3 or 4 or 5 people showed. And then around noon and 1, they all started coming like in droves. That's my memory.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. I guess it either shows how, like, huge a fans that we are, fanatical we are, or whatever, you know, but...
memories are funny, man, you know, and I always say I reserve 10% of all my videos to be a little fuzzy, because, come on, man, you can't remember every damn detail, so I do my best. Just gotta allow a little bit of memories being fuzzy, man. But
this is 18 years ago.
This was 2007. Is that 18 years ago?
18 years ago.
Wow. Really?
So, yeah, 18 plus 7 is 25.
Ba-dum. Someone can do math. Well, you know what, man? I was literally high for 2 weeks after the show. Literally, I was on cloud 9. I had never experienced a rock or punk show that got me this high. Naturally, my adrenaline was just... And I kept talking about the show to everybody, and I was like, man... To see what I witnessed on that stage that night was definitely surreal, crazy, and wild, primal, and we're going to get to the details here, but anyone that was there is going to agree with me, man. It was really, what about you? On scales of all the shows you've seen, what would you say as far as your list? Is that...
You know, I mean, like you, I've been to hundreds of shows, and seen some really good ones. Like, it's hard to even say what the top, like, you know, 10 shows would be, but I mean, I can't deny it was definitely probably the best punk rock show I've ever seen. So I mean,
not best show ever, but best punk rock show.
Probably best show I've ever seen.
Wow.
Because, and you know, like you could say, put your foot down, there you go. You could say, like, you know, compare it to, say, seeing, like, the Scorpions live. They sound just like they sound on the album.
Yes.
Just like it. And you can't say that about very many bands when you see them live. So, you know, Scorpions, man, one of the best shows because they sounded perfect.
Yeah, they
you know
do.
What I mean, one of the
Are you saying that the Stooges were primal and just
yes, it's just like such a like
cacophony
you know,
of crazy?
And Iggy, I mean, like, just wait, how old is he again?
He was 60 at the time.
I know, but
Yeah,
that's what you're
yeah.
thinking the whole time. Is he like 18 or is he 60? And like, where's this coming from? And what the fuck, you know? Just, yeah. And seeing the Ashton brothers, you knew what a like epic moment this was. I mean, it's rock history. You know, it really is the godfather of punk reunited with the original guys.
They were so excited, man. I mean,
it was just like, you know, like, and we were so over the top, over the moon about it leading up to it. I was afraid that we were going to be let down.
Yeah.
You know, to be honest, that we were going to get there
Me too.
and be let down because we had built it up in our heads so much. Not the case.
So we're in line at this venue, right? Goes from us to a few more people to a few more people to a lot of people. The line's getting pretty big by the mid-afternoon. Everyone probably thought they were getting there first or early, but we truly were the first ones there, or maybe in her case, a couple more people were there. I don't think so. I've never been to a show that early in my life. I just kept thinking, man, we're fanatics, and it paid off. So I think we were the first ones there. No disrespect to you on that memory.
Sure, you're wrong, but it's cool.
But anyway, so finally, we're hanging out, and there's all these people, right? And they're all in line. And she remembers us standing up, but I remember us sitting back with our backs against the wall, against the venue, thinking, when we get in that venue, we're going to be up front. No doubt about it, we will be. So we were just chilling out. All of a sudden, you know, we've been talking to people in the line all day about old Stooges stories. We met a bunch of cool people, a few people that were like, hey, bloody. It was nice, man. I got to see some old crew members from the punk scene. But all of a sudden, after maybe 4 or 5 hours of talking to people. It was about 5, 6 o'clock at night, I think 4 o'clock maybe in the afternoon. All of a sudden these two guys walked by and I noticed them. And I turned to Tracy and I go, Tracy, that's Ron and Scott Ashton. They were like 2 feet away from us walking towards the front of the building, assumingly going to sound check, right? And she goes, really? I go, yeah, nobody here even is looking at them. Nobody, let's go. So we booked, started getting behind them. Next thing I know, we're like, you know, from here to this freaking camera. And I just simply said, Church of Rock, Reverend Derek Moody, which is my radio name. Right then, these guys turned around, especially Ron first. And he goes, hey, man, good to meet you, dude. And he knew who I was because we were buds, kind of. And he did the interview on the Church of Rock, right? And he starts talking to us. He's excited to see fans. Nobody, again, notices who the hell they are. I can believe it. We're kind of actively walking towards the front of the place kind of slowly with them. Scott meets me and gets introduced. Hey, this is my brother Scott Ashton. This is him. This is Tracy. We got introduced to rock action. And I introduced Tracy to Ron, right? Well, we start walking with them closer to the venue, and Scott's uptight. He's like, come on, we're going to be late. We're late for sound check. And Ron's like, oh, hang on, man. And he wanted to engage, right? We had a red Sharpie marker, and Tracy was wearing this really cool, what kind of white shirt was it?
It was just a white button-up shirt, like a short white button-up shirt.
Was it like a poet shirt,
Over,
sort of?
Yeah, kind of like a poet shirt. It was a cool, badass white shirt that just buttoned up the front, and it was kind of short.
So while we're there talking, she says, hey, man, will you guys sign my shirt? And I thought, that's so cool. This red signing on a white shirt. So Ron signed it.
He signed the back of it right in the middle of my shoulder blades. Both of them signed like the back. So
it was badass. Took some time to sign a couple things for me. And then we're like, and Scott's like, we got to go. We got to go. And Ron's like, oh, man, hey, what's up, Reverend? You know, hey, bloody, what's up? And it was fun. We were just talking about how he was excited and how they were pumped to do the show in Chicago. Then I said, man, can we get a few photos with you guys real quick? And Scott was getting pissy because I just kept pushing it. Ron's like, yep, we'll do that, man. So he made his brother do it. And we kind of sat there, got a picture with Tracy and Ron and Scott, with me, with both of us. It was cool. And then they pretty much had to go to sound check. But man, that like 10-minute period where we got to stop and chat with those guys was really special.
Yeah, and from my point of view, like, you know, everyone remembers things differently, but from my point of view, it was, you know, I could have swore we were standing there and that we had just finished talking about Ron and Scott. We had just mentioned to each other something about them, or forget what it was, whatever, you know, and all of a sudden, you know, Bloody says, "Oh my God, that's them," and I'm like, "That's who?" You know, like, what? And I'm looking, that's Ron and Scott Ashton right there, and he starts to walk away, and you know, I'll say I had no idea. I didn't know what they looked like because I'm thinking of the Ron and Scott Ashton from the back of the old album covers, right?
Whatever, yeah.
And you know, the interview on the radio was the radio interview. We didn't see them, you know. So you know, and Scott had sunglasses on. You know, they were kind of trying to be a little incognito, just walking with their heads down. But Bloody just spotted them like an eagle spotted, man, and no one else did. And so he starts to walk, and I'm like right behind him. I'm right with him, you know, and he did. He says, "Reverend Moody, Church of Rock," and, you know, of course, Ron turns around, "Hey, what's up?" But I gotta hand it to him. You know, he spotted them, and no one else did, man. Towards the end of the conversation with them, people were looking and starting to kind of go, "Hey, is that?" But it was too
late.
It was too late.
The early bird gets the worm.
And they were headed in, so you know, give it up for the Reverend.
I'm not worthy.
Give it up for the Reverend Derek Moody, and which is the AKA personality he was at that moment with Ron Ashton. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
So after that, we made our way into the venue, and the place we went to, I forget the capacity of the place. What is the capacity of the Congress Theater? I want to say 2,500 people. The place was sold out, man. It's got a cool big old balcony up on top that gets crammed full of people. You're also straight on this floor that if you keep walking back from the stage area, you hit all these bars. But we went straight for the barriers that were right across the front of the stage. You could not get past these barriers or the security guards that were behind them. So there's quite a little gap there between the stage and the audience. But of course, you'll hear about how that didn't matter later on, because Iggy Pop is not a band or a guy that you just put up barriers and expect him to like follow some kind of rule. Even at a couple points during the show, he made him turn all the venue lights on. It was amazing, man. Iggy took control. The Stooges were anything but tame. Matter of fact, we got the entire set list right here from that night. I got the notes. I was able to read reviews from the show. I was able to watch videos from the show. And I have both of our memories we wrote down. So it's a pretty accurate representation of that night.
And it does hold about 4,000.
Oh, does it really?
About 4,000 people. Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, it was packed. It was definitely sold out without a fact. We got up to the front when the barriers are there. We waited for a while. It got to be a long wait, and everyone was like really in anticipation of seeing Iggy real bad. Almost like we were saying at one point, I wish they didn't even have an opening act. I don't even know who they are, but I just want to see Iggy right now. And I heard other people saying that too. Well, this was a bummer to watch. These guys came out, which was the opening act. I'm sorry, I don't remember their name. I actually liked them. I think they might have been a three-piece band. I'm not positive. But they were real rockin'. Long-haired dudes up there doing like real good spunky, punky rock and roll.
You didn't look that up?
No, I didn't. I did originally. I couldn't find it in my original research for this. And I thought, well, it's insignificant kind of. But if you guys did play at that show or you remember who opened, tell me in the comments below. Take a moment to subscribe to the channel, please, guys. And give it a thumbs up if you'd like. So we're up there. Finally, the opening act comes on. And these guys, I'm not kidding you, they started getting pelted with garbage. They were getting pelted with cans, beer, spit. People were yelling and booing, "Get off stage, F you."
It was so bad. Like, I've seen opening bands get booed and, get screamed at and have things thrown at them, which is,
but this
pretty uncool.
This was brutal.
This was next level stuff. This was like, get off the stage or we may
They're gonna lynch
possibly
you.
hurt you. Like,
It was sucky,
yeah,
man.
I felt really sorry for
shit.
those guys at that show. That was the first time I ever saw an audience treat an opening act that way, and the last time, thank God, because it wasn't pretty to watch.
It sucked, man. I was really feeling bad because being a singer of a band myself, if that happened to me, man, I'd be off that stage in about 2 minutes. Of course, back in the Scabs days, that happened regularly.
No, you would have thrown stuff back at them, probably.
Yeah,
Like,
but it was
found
really...
something that was flammable and Molotov cocktailed the crowd. I mean,
I
yeah.
think I did that once. No, fire extinguishers, whatever. But you know what, man? I felt bad for them. It was really horrible to watch. And I got to say, Tracy, who has the balls to even open for Iggy Pop? Those guys deserve an award for even attempting to do that.
Surreal. Yeah, I would have to agree with that.
It's just because you. Who opens up for Iggy Pop? But they did. They tried. It didn't work. They didn't play a very long set. And I will say, two years later, they didn't have any opening act when I saw the Stooges' second tour. They had no opening act in Chicago.
Unless we're, because I guess we don't know, but unless they were a band that they picked up in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think it was.
Okay, so how some bands, are not on the tour, but they pick up an opening act a day or two ahead of time in that town that they're playing.
I wonder what Iggy Pop thought about that.
Those guys probably thought something like, oh, who's this Iggy Pop guy? Oh, well, he's an older cat, and, we'll open for this dude because, he's probably got some older followers, and we'll just open up this show, and it'll be cool. Well, they were freaking wrong. They were wrong. And if that's the case, if they got picked up for that particular gig only, well, then they got what they deserved.
Well, anyway, I still want to know the name of that band, and man, those guys were good. I liked them, but man, that was sad. I've never, ever... One time I saw Aerosmith in '84 at the Rosemont in Chicago, and the opening act was from Australia, Rose Tattoo. Loved Rose Tattoo, and people booed them at that show. I couldn't believe it. I was like, you're booing these guys? Rose Tattoo? Bad boys. Don't play rock and... Nice boys don't play rock and roll. Yeah. I'm not a nice boy, and I never was. Well, so let's get into the show details. Want to?
Yeah,
I could throw these notes away here.
I remember the highlights, so, we'll just do this, like...
Yeah, I got the set.
Well, you remember, and I'll interject what I remember, because, it was the best show I've ever seen. So.
Okay, we're going to get into the set list. This is the actual set list. There was no encore, nothing like that. Iggy just came out and played, and it was from the very beginning.
Well, and first of all, we made our way right down to the freaking front. We were like,
against the barrier.
Do we go down to the front and get the whole, like, I'm going to be, squished, sweating, and barely able to breathe the whole time? Or do we find a good spot that we can see the whole time? What are we going to do? I had my leather on, and I'll tell you right now, this is advice if you don't already know. When you're wearing a leather jacket, you want to go down to the barricade in the front row and stand like this, because this, first of all,
shield.
It protects the boobs, and it also makes sure that the only bruises you're gonna get are right here. So yeah, that's what we did. We went down to the very front row, and it was me like this. Okay, here we are. I'm digging in. we're not gonna move. So
anyway, we planted our feet in the dirty concrete, and place was packed. Couldn't move much. It was one of those claustrophobic kind of feelings, but it was cool. When these guys got off stage, the band came out, and they didn't use a lot of lighting. It was dark in there a lot, which was cool. It's like they didn't want a bunch of fancy lights brightening up the things. Because it was very hot. And the Stooges were always a dark band in so many ways. And they were just wild and frenetic and unpredictable. And the music was just fabulous. Some people think they were awful. There's people out there I've read that like, the Stooges are overrated and they sucked. Those records are so good, man. So good. And Ron Ashton and James Williamson are just like, not worthy, I'm not worthy.
To each his own. Not everyone can afford therapy. So.
Right. Well, this whole show was a steady stream of balls to the walls classics from Iggy Pop's and the Stooges era. Loose was the first song on when Iggy came out. He was wearing just a pair of blue jeans, no shirt, no shoes. He had long blonde hair. He was in pretty good shape. His body looked a lot healthier. He was 60 compared to now. And he was in pretty good shape physically still.
Yeah, say what you will about Iggy, even now, it's like, I mean, you know, yeah, it's it's not the most pleasant thing to look at, but God, the guy's in the 70s now, and he's still ripped.
Oh my God, he's
places
badass.
where you can be ripped, he's ripped.
Yeah,
you know?
he was so cool.
He's got, you know, older skin because he's older, but he does not give a fuck. He doesn't care. It's Iggy Pop. He doesn't care, man. You know, if you think that he looks kind of trollish or whatever, you know,
boy.
because he takes his shirt off, I'm sure he would say the exact same thing that he would have said in 1968.
I don't care.
Which I don't give up.
Yeah.
You know, so.
So you know what, man? He comes running out and he's like waving at everybody and running from one end of the stage to the other. And immediately I realized I was wrong. I was like, he's got more energy than I thought he'd have. I thought like he'd be an older dude kind of going through the motions. Nope. He was playing that whole side of the stage, both sides. He was running back and forth. He was immediately sweaty. And man, he started climbing up on amps. He started engaging to the audience. He made you feel like you were on edge. Loose was amazing. It went right into Down on the Street, which is just a classic from the Stooges. Mike Watt was up there all dressed in this one-piece black, like coverall. What do they call them? They call them...
overalls.
Yeah, like overalls.
Bibs.
Carhartts.
Carhartts, okay.
It was like a black Carhartt outfit with this cool-ass purple bass guitar strap. And Mike Watt's up there with his eyes, how he gets all crazy looking. And it was badass. Ron Ashton's up there with his goatee and his like army camouflage green jacket. Scott Ashton on drums with a white baseball cap turned backwards. And of course Steve McKay was out there. He was all in black with that big shiny saxophone. Then they did I Want to Be Your Dog, right? This is when things started amping up to a whole nother level of crazy. Iggy Pop was getting completely insane. He started climbing on top of amps, like all the way to the top and shaking stuff. His management's running around like crazy. Meanwhile, he's drinking bottles of water and drinking like 2 drinks per bottle and throwing them. And they're constantly bringing him new waters. He went through like 200, I swear. It was insane.
It was.
Did he jump off the amp? I could have swore he jumped off the amp.
He did at one point.
Into the
jump off
crowd.
Yeah.
60. Just jumped off that amp, man. And they caught him, of course. And it was nuts.
He was also, you know, he paraded down in the front behind the barricade a few
Started
times.
walking around the barricades during the next
back up
song.
on stage, and then
They went into TBI, and that's when he started telling the sound guy and the lighting guy, turn those effing lights up, turn those lights on right now, you MFers, and he was screaming, and we were like, what the hell? And pretty soon all the lights came on in the entire venue, so it went from this dark, seedy rock and roll show to like all lit up. And Iggy's up there. Hey, I see you girl in the red up there in the balcony. Hey! He's like, I see you dude in the black hair. What's up, man? This was weird. He was connecting with people, and you could tell he was, in his mind, literally going to give people the Stooges show because the Stooges were off the charts. And he had saved up all his primal energy. He was letting it loose. Tons of vulgarities, which were just hilarious. Telling people to turn the lights on. Jumping in the crowd, stage diving, and this was like the 4th song.
Yeah, it was early, and then was it No Fun after that?
No, they did My Idea of Fun next was the first song they did that night from the Weirdness album, the new album that had come out, and it was great. He started out with just him saying, my idea of fun is killing everyone,
Right.
And then the band just kicks in, and that's a good song from that album, man.
Yeah.
We should play that on the Church of Rock soon. Then they went into Dirt, and this is when it gets a little dirty. There's some parts of this story that are risque. If you're easily offended.
Are you sure though? Was that before or after?
Well, I'm not
they came over
100%
like
sure.
ants?
Well, nope. I got that written down in my notes. That was during No Fun.
Okay, but
I am sure about this.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
So during Dirt, Iggy's in the crowd at this point. There's no separation. He's in the crowd. His management's tripping. He's got the cord. They're out there trying to control him. They couldn't. And Iggy's walking down, and people are all reaching over, grabbing his hair. People are shaking his hand. People were holding hands with him.
Into the crowd at this point. He's not behind the barrier. He's in the crowd, like
right next to
all
us,
smashed together like sardines. He's in the crowd, and
we're as close to Iggy as we are right now, and he's in the crowd singing.
Closer than that.
But remember, Dirt is just one of those great songs. It's very dirty, it's gritty, it's punk, it's sleazy, it's like basement rock, and it rhymes with what rhymes with rock. Anyway, Iggy Pop has been known in rock and roll history.
He has a reputation.
He has a reputation. What is that reputation?
He has a reputation in rock and roll, very notorious, very well known, for being exceptionally well endowed, we shall say.
Well put.
Yeah, he is known for having a very large penis. Period. Everyone knows it. It's not a secret. I mean, Iggy's gotten naked on stage a lot of times over the years.
Even in his book, I think it's called I Need More, that came out, there's a full picture of him completely naked standing there.
So it's not a big secret. Like,
no.
He's flaunted it many times. Maybe he wouldn't have taken his clothes off so many times had he not been.
Okay, so we find out, if you didn't know right now, we had a little education about Iggy Pop's penis size. Now, when Iggy Pop was walking by us, there were girls that were grabbing him, girls that were grabbing his crotch, dudes were grabbing his shoulders, chicks were trying to kiss him. It was really a trip. It was almost like Jesus walking through the waters, or the people in it, and it was just like, oh, I got to touch him. It was nuts, man.
He stopped.
And then he would stop and stand there and just let people grope him, and he didn't stop anything. He just let what happened happen. It was just ultimate connection with the fans.
This is where, like, your story might differ from mine a little bit.
All right, what's your version of what happened next?
He comes next to us, and, there were people around us, but he is literally pressed against me like this. Like, my sweat was his sweat. There was nowhere to move. I couldn't believe it was happening. Like, I'm like, this is the most surreal thing ever.
Should we give the disclaimer first about you?
He stayed there forever. Like, he stayed there for a good 4.5 minutes. Like, the whole song and into the next song.
It was wild.
Like, he just stayed right there.
At one point, I was holding the guy's hand. Like, we all were. Everybody was taking turns, like, being a part of Iggy Pop.
And he's literally, pressed up against me, and I figured, well, I'm gonna check it out.
She's gonna check it out.
I'm gonna see if the rumors are true or if they're not. And so, and I am a shy person by nature.
She's not a groupie type
at all. And
never been that type of girl. Never had that happen, except maybe that one time.
That one time with Kirk Hammett, like in '86. But
Kirk Hammett in an elevator.
But that was mostly all Kirk. But anyway,
that's a different story for later.
So yeah, I checked it out, and I was like, wow, whoa, okay, yeah, the rumors are all true. It's all true. And then some. He didn't even seem to flinch. It didn't even, like, it was like he didn't even notice.
I gotta say, according to my memory, tell me if I'm wrong, she looked at me before she did that, and she said, should I? And I was like, hell yeah!
I did.
Did that happen?
I did.
Okay, I'm not just memorizing, thinking I thought that. So I was like, go for it, Tracy. And she did. And so I'm standing there just gagging. Totally, this show is already just one of the most amazing shows ever. It's unpredictable. Iggy's right next to us. We can feel his aura. And, well, she was feeling more than his aura. And, I want to hold your gland. I want to hold your gland. Anyway, it seemed like it was about a minute and a half. And I was just sitting here thinking, oh, my God. She's got her hands down Iggy Pop's pants right now. Still! And I was like, well, hope she can give us a good report. And here we are all these years later. All these years later, she's giving the report.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about all I've got to say about that. Yeah.
Wow, what a trip.
And, you know, like I said, for his credit, to his credit, he just, you know, seemed like,
What are you going to say, possibly?
you know, that, I mean, he could have been, you know, really like, you know, get off me.
No, he's one of those guys that just lets people take control of him when he's in the audience. He doesn't care.
And I was nice about it. I was as,
Well, obviously you weren't shy.
I was as gentle as I could possibly be about the whole situation.
Oh yeah, and we were sober at this show except for a lot of ganja. There was no partying.
Yeah,
there
no
was
alcohol, if you can believe that.
Yeah, so I remember this very well.
Because typically I would need some liquid courage for something like that, but no.
Isn't it a trip though? So we've lived to hear the story about that. After Tracy's hand came out of Iggy's pants.
I'm never going to be able to live this down. This is why I don't do videos.
That's why it took a year and a half to talk her into it, I think. Well, the next song, let's let her off the hook, man. Let's let her, no more puns, man. I got a lot of them. He did Real Cool Time next from the first album right there. And we will have a real cool time tonight. They did that next. It was just amazing hearing Ron Ashton up there on the guitar, the guy that wrote the song, Scott Ashton on the drums. It was just freaking badass, man. Mike Watt up there holding down the bass, throwing in funky notes. They did
Iggy's
just running
he's
around,
sauntering back and forth on the stage like this tiger that just had all this energy, you know, and just
he was sweating
and it's, you know, staring down the crowd and screaming at the crowd, and it's just, you keep wondering to yourself, like, how long is this gonna last? Because I mean, I don't know what. I was like, I don't know, 30 or something at the time, and I couldn't have done that, you know?
Well, you're like, I don't know, you know.
Whatever, but I was a lot younger than Iggy, and I couldn't have done that.
The physical prowess.
The physical, yeah, the stamina was just mind-blowing, and we kept wondering, or I did, how many songs do we have left to hear? Because I'm thinking of all these songs I want to hear. And I'm like, we're only going to get about 10 more minutes of a show.
And they did deliver.
You know?
He was just running around the stage, but working both sides of it constantly, coming down off the stage, climbing on amps, jumping off the stage diving. He was in the crowd more than once. He had him turn on the lights during the show one more time, too. It was nuts, man. Turn those effing lights on. And he wanted to, like, see the people. And it was like, this is one of the only real rockers still to this day that's always been a real one, man. Michael Monroe, Iggy Pop. There's not a ton of real rockers. There's more than that, but I'm just saying Iggy's one of the top 10 for sure, top 5, top 1. Then they did No Fun. And this was a crazy moment of the show because the barriers are set up. All these security dudes have been getting challenged all night with people trying to get over, people throwing stuff. And it was just out of hand. These bouncers had a lot of work going on because Chicago crowds are nuts. Well, during No Fun, Iggy said, "Come on up here on stage, you effers. Come on up here." And the security all starts looking at each other.
At first, the security's like, wait,
Right.
is he serious? Like, are we supposed to stop them?
Kept
and
inviting
then he says,
people.
I fucking mean it. Come on, right now. Everybody up here on the stage. He and I are looking at each other because we're in front row, right? And he's like, God, we gotta go. You want to go? You ready to go?
I was ready to go over that barrier.
We wanted to be on stage with Iggy Pop, you know? And I look at him and I say, if we leave this spot, and this was an hour into the show, we're never going to get back here to the spot again. Like, if we leave the spot, we're done. So we decide not to go. And if you've ever seen one of those, like, apocalyptic zombie films, you know how, like, when you see the zombies coming over a wall and they look like ants? This is what it looked like, the people coming over the top of us. It was literally just like, I mean, I just put my head down like this on the railing.
It was nuts.
And bodies just started coming over the top of us like ants. Like,
dozens
everybody
and dozens
in that freaking place
tried to get up there.
got up there. The whole stage was packed. full of people.
And Iggy Pop is standing in the middle of the stage, surrounded by people that are hugging him, grabbing his hair, kissing him, singing with him, and just whatever they wanted. He kind of was like letting them do it. Like one guy, he would put the mic up to one guy, and be like, "No fun," and then he'd sing with the guy, and just it was really like a moment of just beauty, because it was Iggy Pop again breaking down that separation between band and audience, and being a part of each other. And it was just really a spiritual thing for me.
I mean, here we are with about a fourth of the people left in the audience, including us.
That's a little over-exaggerated.
Man, I swear to God, there must have been 1,000 people on that stage. And security was just screwed.
Tripping.
They didn't know what to do.
Outnumbered. They were
That
down.
was fun to watch.
They lost total control. It was fun.
That was completely great to watch.
Yeah, fun.
You could tell they were pissed, and it was great.
And that jam went on for a long time. It was just so fun. Everyone was singing along to all these songs. The Iggy was up there just sweating balls and just getting worn out, but just kept going on in like a jogger in a marathon or something.
And he left it up to them to get the people off stage.
Yeah.
He didn't say like, "Okay, guys, we're done now. You can go back to your seats," or "Can everybody just please clear the stage?"
That was a nightmare.
No, man. He just left it up to security to take care of, clean up the mess.
And he's chugging water, like I say, like every minute or so he's going through a couple bottles of water. He takes 2 or 3 drinks, throws it in the audience, and throws it behind him. They're coming out and grabbing him off stage, bringing him new ones. It was nuts, man. But he stayed hydrated. Then they did 1970, and that's one of the times he said turn the lights on, I believe. 1970, great tune from the Stooges. They went into Funhouse, which was badass, super killer jam. Iggy's going ape shit on stage. They kind of went into an impromptu jam that went into the LA Blues, which was unexpected, and I don't think that was planned. Really good. They did Skull Ring from the Weirdness album.
Yeah, I forgot that. I forgot about that.
Then they did Trollin' from the Weirdness album. A couple new songs back to back from 07. Then they did 1969 OK. War Across the USA. Yeah, that was awesome. Another great sing-along. Man, it was so cool to hear 1969 with Ron Ashton on that guitar and that fuzz.
It was really cool. Did he do... Am I like just not remembering, but did he do either like Passenger, China Girl, any of the slower
Nope,
tunes?
it was just the stuff from the Stooges.
Just from the Stooges only,
the
right?
first album, pretty much.
Okay.
Yep. Well, yeah, and then they did some stuff too, I think. Well, Dirt is from Funhouse, isn't it? Yeah, they did stuff from that too. Yeah, Funhouse and
but
from
there
the
was
first album.
nothing that wasn't Total Stooges.
Yeah, it was both albums that was Ron and Scott and Iggy, because after that they got James Williamson on guitar, and then Ron went to bass, and that's when they
Someone
did
asked me
Raw
that recently,
Power.
and I was like, I don't think so. I don't think he did anything that was like remotely close to any of the Iggy stuff like that.
And then they did She Took My Money from the Weirdness album, which another great tune off that record. Again, if you've never heard that Stooges Weirdness album, it's worth it, man. Iggy, Scott, Ron, Mike Watt, Steve McKay. It's worth having, man. Then they did Not Right from the first Stooges album. I'm Not Right. I just love that tune, man. Another classic from, man, I remember being like 15 years old, smoking bongs, drinking beer, and thinking, I love the Stooges. And I used to love the fact that to think, in 1969 in the summertime, when Woodstock was going on in Bethel, New York, Iggy Pop and the Stooges were in recording that first album.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like so far
worlds.
ahead of his time, you know.
He was voted most likely to succeed, and he was class president of his high school.
I don't know. Maybe I'm getting off topic, but it just it pisses me off like so much when I hear. And I used to hear this a long time ago. You know, when millennials were young, the older millennials who are in their 40s now, for Christ's sakes. But, you know, when you hear things like Green Day, the godfathers of punk, you know, and it just made me feel violent.
Green Day, the godfathers of punk, that's pretty lame.
I'm such a peaceful, laid-back person. I'm kind, and I'm usually quiet. I'm a quiet, laid-back Scorpio. But, man...
Most of the time.
But when I would hear that, you know, things like, Green Day, the Godfather's a punk. I just think these people need to be in shackles. Like,
They just need to be re-educated.
Oh, man, I don't think you can educate people like that. I don't know. But anyway, yeah.
We take our rock and roll seriously.
It's just like, and even now, you know, they have all these reaction videos, you know, and I don't ever see Iggy on these reaction videos. And I want to. I think I might even do a video like that, just so there's one out there.
Now, I'd watch yours, but I'm so sick of those.
But, you know, it's kind of wild to see people react to genres that they've never heard. But there needs to be some reaction videos to Iggy Pop.
You could do it on this channel. You want to do a short? You could do a 30-second one, or is that too short?
I don't know. That's probably too short, but some of them take it too long, too. But, yeah, it's just, anyway, that was an aside. Anyone who's watching this knows, so I'm not telling any of you that, but yeah.
Hey.
You too should be pissed off if you ever hear anyone say anything like that, anyone but Iggy Pop is the godfather of punk rock.
And so it has been said. They did, the band went into I'm Fried, and then they did a tune called A Little Electric Chair. You know, that was the whole set, but you know what? Do you remember when Iggy Pop was done? The energy in that place was just, I don't even know how to put it. It was electric. People were completely, like, everyone's adrenaline was on 10. Yeah. Iggy Pop, when he left that stage, he started dancing around the stage and waving at everybody. He was just, his hip was out of place. He had blood dripping down his chest. He was sweating to death. He looked like he was in serious pain. Just looked like he'd been through, like, battle.
But he still stopped and did a little jig.
He did a couple of them, man, and I was like, look at this nutty guy. I love him.
And there were people in the crowd, too, that, you know, had been in, like, the so-called pit, you know, at times or whatever, that looked like they just wanted to keel over and die.
It was hardcore. It was so hot and so much energy being expelled. And then I looked back. When Iggy left the stage, I started looking back to see just, where'd he go? Like, what's he doing right now? Where's the band? And I saw like 4 or 5 chicks that were like in their 20s, 30s. You know, they were basically decent looking women. And I thought, man, Iggy Pop, 60 years old, still a woman's man. Unbelievable. Because you don't really see that anymore in rock and roll. Like, just
still,
these chicks are obviously groupies.
Still pulling in the chicks, yeah.
But yeah, it was just wild because that's not really a norm these days. But for Iggy Pop, I bet you money. I think he might be married now. I don't know if he was then. But he was definitely taking his choice with one of those girls, and he did, because one was in the car later. So check it out. We're not done with the story. The story, when they left the stage, it was almost, we were like, holy hell, that was killer. And after he left the stage and all the lights came up, and it was just, everyone was just sweating, garbage was everywhere, beer bought cans, not cans, but the cups. And we finally made our way outside, and me and Tracy were like,
the back.
Let's go try to meet him. Let's go try to meet Iggy. So we started walking around the whole place. We couldn't figure out, there's a lot of weird, you know, what do you call them, nooks and crannies. We didn't know which way he was coming out, and then we kept walking around.
Side doors, like places that go upstairs, like, you know.
We're like, So we're walking around, we see other people kind of walking around looking for him, and then we see a back door, and right next to the back door, wasn't there a black sedan?
There was a limo.
Like, okay.
Pulled right up against the building, like you could almost like not
open one door and get in the other.
Yeah, you couldn't even really open a door and get in from the building. Like, it was that close. And we knew immediately as soon as we saw it, we're like, oh, that's the spot, you know, where he's going to come out at. And there was nobody there. Like, so we're thinking, okay, well, maybe definitive score, right? We'll check it out. We'll chill for a minute and see if the man walks out, you know. And you know, when you're in a spot like that, if too much time goes by, it's just gonna happen. People are gonna notice that there's a limo or an SUV there, and they're gonna notice that people who look like fans are, or even maybe look like they're members of the band, which is often the case with him. Seriously, that's happened. And, you know, so they catch on. And then next thing you know, there's a couple more people walking over. And a couple more people
please, no one else.
Yeah, you know.
Next thing you know, there's a dozen, 15 people.
I get it, people, everyone wants to meet him, so, you can't really get mad about it, but I still do.
Scorpios are very competitive. Pisces really not so much, but in this case, I didn't want anyone else coming either. And a little while later, guys, the security door opened, that back door opened, and a big security dude pokes his head out.
Like a guy that looks like Mike Tyson.
Like an inflated Mike Tyson, big.
Yes, only bigger than Mike Tyson, taller than Mike Tyson. But
resembling him, kinda.
Yeah.
Kinda. But he's big. Trust me, and I ended up pissing him off more than a few times.
You didn't have to do anything to piss him off.
Well, I kind of did.
He was there to be pissed off.
Well, the door opened, he pops his head out, he's scoping out to see how many fans are going to be out there because he's used to this rigmarole.
He might as well have just said, fuck off.
Well,
I mean, he was really just...
And then the door shuts, and then he opens it again like another time, and we're like, here comes Iggy. It wasn't, and then finally the door opened. There's like 30 people out there or whatever, maybe more. But we're like right next to the door, and we're like, screw this. If he comes out, we're getting first shot at trying to get a photo with him. That was my main priority, is to get a picture with Iggy, or have him sign something, or at least just talk to him for a few minutes and have a conversation. So next thing you know, here comes Iggy Pop, and he walks out. He's really short. What was he wearing?
He was so cute. He had on, and he at this point, he was James Osterberg again. You would never recognize Iggy when he's James Osterberg. He had on a little tweed jacket, shit you not, a tweed jacket with like a scarf tied European style tucked into the tweed jacket. And of course he still looked kind of sweaty, but yeah, that's what he was wearing.
Hold off on that for a second.
Yeah.
Guys, so when he walks out, it was immediately chaos, right? Everyone's like, hey, Iggy, Iggy, Iggy. We weren't. We were just standing there because everyone was going apeshit. And Iggy starts taking control, guys. He goes, everyone, I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. People are screaming and yelling. He's like, shut the F up. I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. And everyone finally went from this rumble to this roar to a rumble to just quiet. It was crazy. But he got everyone to shut up. And everyone wasn't all just trying to be all excited and panicky and anxiety. He's like, I'm not going anywhere, man. And people freaked. And they thought, okay, well, cool. So they were laid back, right? And then all of a sudden, after about 5-6 seconds, you hear this chick's voice come out from the crowd going, can I give you a kiss? Or can you give me a kiss? Or no, he goes, sorry. Can I give you a kiss? And Iggy Pop says, yes, you can give me a kiss. So she walks over, gives him a kiss. And then some other dude goes, Iggy, would you sign my album? He's like, sure, I'll sign your album, man. Walks over, signs it. And that's what starts happening. And then I'm like, hey, man, can we get a picture with you? The security guy goes, no pictures, man.
But this was all happening at, like, top speed. Like, it was clear that he was going. He wanted to leave. It wasn't going to be like a fan deal. Like, it wasn't
no pictures allowed.
It was no pictures allowed, and plus he wasn't going to hang out. I mean, the car was running. He was going to jump in the car and jet.
He was accommodating the fans, though.
He was trying to as many as he could in that short amount of time, which added up to maybe a handful.
Well, then the next second later, I'm like, come on, Iggy, can I get a photo with you? And that security dude turns again and goes, man, no photos, man.
And I said too, please, Iggy, please.
And he just kept, and then he looked at her,
get a picture,
all
please?
Angry, and then Iggy signing stuff and getting kisses and saying hi to people. And some people are actually asking him questions. We even asked a couple I don't remember, like something about his new album, and he was like, thanks, man. Just as he's signing stuff. And then I'm like, hey, man, come on, man, let's get one photo.
So chaotic.
And then the security guy turns to me and gets in my face, and he goes, no photos, dude. And I'm like, damn. I think he was getting ready to clobber me, man. But I don't think Iggy would have let it happen. But then again,
it was very chaotic.
I was being obnoxious.
It was very crammed. It was very chaotic. It wasn't like normal after show deals where you're just able to talk to the artists. You had to, like, if you were going to say something, you had to yell it out and hope that it got answered.
But it was neat because
he was tired. He was ready to go.
For about 15 minutes, though, he stood there and signed shit. And how long was it?
It wasn't that long.
How long was it?
I would say like maybe 6 minutes.
So you're gonna say like 14 minutes.
I was gonna say like maybe 6 minutes.
Okay, man. She could be right.
He was ready to go.
He was ready to go.
But yeah.
But I kept asking about that damn photo. And
did.
in such a short period of time, that guy was getting real pissed because Iggy Price said, "Don't let anyone take photos because if you do, everyone's gonna want one, and I'm never getting out of here, right?" And he had this hot chick in the car. Well, anyway, all of a sudden, he's getting ready to get in that car, and I finally did it again. I said, "Come on, Iggy, one pic."
And I said, "Please."
And he goes, "Okay, one." And then right then he goes, "Give him the camera." So
he slaps his arm around.
Tracy gives the security guard the camera. Iggy just walks over, jumps right in front of Tracy, or right here to Tracy like this.
Slaps his arm around me. I slap my arm around him.
I'm back here. The guy takes the photo, throws the camera to Tracy. Iggy gets in the car and bolts. And we've got that photo to show you right now. Make sure there's no glare. Just kind of tilt it to where it's not glary. So check out, there's Tracy with like a deer in headlights, but happy as hell. There's me right there looking like, man, I wanted to be up front. And look at Iggy.
Next to that is the large Mike Tyson looking guy.
Oh, show that again.
I cropped him out.
Oh, man. Show that photo one more time, just for posterity. This was a fun night, guys. And this photo to me is just hilarious because, again, we all have this certain look. Iggy looks nuts. Tracy looks elated and surprised. And I look like remorseful.
Back when I had my like Joan Jett short hair.
That was funny.
Yeah. And like I said, the guy that I cut out of the photo.
Do you have the original?
He deserved to be cut out of the photo.
Well, I just wanted people to see what he looked like because he was like in my face.
I do have the original.
It doesn't matter.
I do have it.
We appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys watching, by the way. Okay, look, show him that got the security cat. I'll scoot over the other way. More this way. There you go. Look at that dude. Right there. He is, oops. Look how big that dude is. He's standing behind Iggy. He's got his arm around Tracy's shoulder. Like, no one else is getting up here. We're getting this guy out of here right now. You know?
And like he's looking for somebody's head to bust. You know, like...
some heads are going to roll.
Sorry, we're not more professional in showing these on a screen. He never wants me to edit anything like CapCut.
Organic.
He just wants to stay the way he does it. And it's cool. The way he does it is fine. So,
my friends, we love you from the bottom of our black little hearts.
Good to be here. Probably won't be here again.
Why?
I don't really have any reason to be back again.
We have a lot of stories we could tell together.
Yeah.
That way you would be a plus if I told those stories. Maybe I'll hit you up and ask you on a per story basis.
Sure. You're a much better storyteller than I am, but hopefully he'll start to let me maybe help him with some editing stuff now and then, and some of the photos that he talks about will be able to be shown on the screen and things like that. But he does a great job.
I'm like the Fred Flintstone of YouTube.
It's a pleasure to be here. I know a lot of you that watch are also Church of Rock fans.
Yeah, by the way, you can check out the Church of Rock radio show with me and Tracy every Sunday night at 6 p.m. Central. I'm sorry, start over. 6 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Central, and 9 p.m. Eastern times. You can listen anywhere online, live, at kskq.org Sunday nights. It's a 2-hour show. Most people that hear it become addicted. It's been going on for 25 years, and on Halloween is our 26th anniversary.
Yeah, so I know a lot of you are Church of Rock fans, so some of the people, because I watch the videos, and I do read the comments, and sometimes I reply to some of you, and sometimes I comment. So, you know, hello to all of you out there who are Church of Rock fans, and I'm familiar with. And
maybe we'll do a Facebook Live some night, stream our show on Facebook sometime. We can't on here because of copyright stuff, but on Facebook we could, I think.
Sure, and I also have lots of videos myself.
Want to plug your YouTube channel?
Well, mine is SISTA, because it doesn't all fit, so it's SISTA, Tracy.
Tracy.
At the Church of Rock.
Or is it just Sister Tracy Church of Rock?
Yeah, Sister Tracy Church of Rock. I think is it 111? Anyway, you'll find it if you type in Sister Tracy Church of Rock. But it doesn't have a lot on it right now, but I'm in the process of cleaning out all of my videos.
She's got, if not hundreds, dozens and dozens of rock shows from the Dead Boys, all kinds of stuff.
And I really need to post those, so
Please.
I'm out of memory on my camera, and I literally have about 300 videos that I need to put on there. So in the coming weeks, especially now that I've opened my mouth and said I'm going to do it, I will be doing it. So check out those videos if you want to. You can follow or like or whatever. I'm not super into this stuff.
Yeah, subscribe to her channel for her, man. It'll make her happy, and it'll make her want to put more cool stuff up because it's very obscure.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you know, it's one of a kind. Everybody's got a one of a kind video, so.
Thanks for being on the channel today.
I had a good time. It was cool.
Yeah.
So keep rocking, and thanks for having me. And be good to this guy because he's my favorite person in the world. So be good to him, or I won't be that nice Scorpio girl.
And on that note, on that threat, she loves you. Just be nice to me.
Have a good one, guys.
Cheers, rockers. Thanks for being here, man. Long live Iggy Pop.